I wanted to make a quick tutorial where I show how with NovelAI you can basically create a character. In case you might not be too sure about which character design you want to go with, this is something you can play around with and you can get different variations to get an idea of what exactly do you want as a final product once you eventually move into getting a VTuber model. Now, I still think you should go with an artist at the end of the day because the artist will do the layering. They would maybe add some flair to it that the AI might not, as AI can be seen to be a bit soulless. But that said, it is better if you have a better idea or a clearer design in your head that you can provide the artist so that they can improve on it or create the final model. I have done this with several different people before, about 3, and it's basically back and forth with them, generating different characters to see what they like, what they don't like, and with that they had a better idea of what to go for and what to present their artist for the final work. I am not going to provide these people's names, but know that they are VTubers that are actually working right now, and they are streaming. So while this may seem taboo to some of you, I am well aware that some people have done this before, and I myself have done this also. So this is very simple. I am using NovelAI. I've been using Novel since 2022, back when they started out, and I mainly use it for thumbnails, but the program itself has evolved in a way where you can use it to create your own VTuber models, and Pippa from Face Connect even created a whole fake VTuber agency, which eventually led to some of the people who adopted those characters to start VTubing themselves.
And I generated the images with chat's help. You can't even blame me for that. With chat's help, I generated the images. That's it. I have not made any of these accounts. So, not my fault. If this goes south, it was not me. It was not me.
The most popular one being Niana Banyana. The program itself uses the art tags from Danboru. If a character has blonde hair, like this character over here, then it shows a list of tags like blonde hair, straw hat, sundress, beach, sky, clouds, and everything like that. For the sake of showing how it works, I'm gonna go with girl character, and I'm going to, let's say, first I'm going to keep it broad and then I'm going to refine it a bit more so you can see how the program works. So I'm going to add one girl virtual VTuber facing forward, facing viewer, white background. I usually go with white backgrounds as it's easier to edit the background out. There is a tool in the program that will let you delete the background if you don't know how to work with Photoshop. But I'm going to cover this in a second part of the tutorial where I will show you how to make a PNG VTuber using NovelAI. For this first part of the tutorial, I just want to focus on the basic design for your character, which you can play with and you can alter. I want a muscular female. I want a fox girl for the sake of VTubing. So with fox girl, I add fox ears and foxtail. Maybe I want to have a kimono for the sake of keeping a fairly traditional look, and white hair and red eyes. It's fairly simple. I will start refining later on. So let's see what you get, and that's fairly good. So for the sake of VTubing, you can use the vertical orientation to get a full body view of your character. And if you want to get many different variations or many different generations, you might want to maybe go with a landscape view, and you might add multiple views. This will give you different views of the character. Sometimes it might generate more than one character. So let's see. See, it gives you a back and forth. The muscular is a bit too crazy. I don't really like it, so I'm gonna take it off. Maybe add toned, and let's see what I get. See, it's still a bit too muscular, but it has a fairly general look of what a VTuber model should look like. For the sake of, again, making this a VTuber model, I want her to have her arms at sides. Let's try again. And as you can see, there's a fairly generic design, but from there, you can start refining what you want from it. Now, let's say you want her to have, I don't know, Hana, ear piercing. Let's add nail polish, sharp fingernails. Let's add a fox mask. And let's give her, I don't know, barefoot. And as you can see, the AI starts generating different styles, different designs, different, I guess, examples of what your character might look like. In case you might want to change the dress, because maybe looking at it, you don't want to go with the traditional fox, then you can maybe get a little bit more crazy and maybe change the kimono. I don't know, put samurai armor. Maybe instead of white hair, give her streaked hair. And let's try that again and see what we get. See, the hands are a bit messed up, but overall, you can get an idea of a design that's fairly complete. And you can use this to maybe generate different things. Maybe see, this one has two tails. Maybe you might want to incorporate that, or tell your artist, oh, I want two tails. Maybe, as you can see, the armor is white. You might want the armor to be white, or you might want it to be black. Depending on the hair color, you can change that. You can also change the hair length and all that. So let's go with short hair and maybe go with black hair. The more tags you add to the prompt, the more detailed everything seems to get. See, this one looks fairly nice. It's a bit generic when it comes to the body type, but you can maybe add revealing clothes. See what you get there. Maybe increase the breast size, large, and you can go like that, just experimenting different styles or whatever. You can even change if you want a different type of animal, you can change that. And for the sake of then going into creating a PNG VTuber, you will want to change the canvas to be, again, vertical. And you might want to add, instead of being full body, making upper body, and removing the different multiple views. And you can play with that still a bit. Oh, see, if you have different prompts that may clash with each other, what happens is that I had barefoot somewhere around here, and it clashes with upper body. But if I delete barefoot, I believe that when I hit generate, it should give me a close-up of her torso and her head. So let's see. See, there we go. And then, just like that, we have still a bit somewhat lewd. So let me get rid of the revealing clothing. Oh, that actually looks really nice. And just like that, you can have a fairly complex character. Down here, you can save the image where it says download image. On the side, there's a history of all the images you have created. If you refresh or leave the website or close the window, this all will vanish. So take note of that. You might want to save generations you like, because when you add those back into the window or to the program, it will recognize the prompts that you used to generate that image. So you can play with it to get different type of generations. What I did with my character is that I first drew a fairly rough model of my character. Then I ran it through AI using Novel to get the different parts of it. Hair slicked back, and it would show you a character with slicked back hair. That actually looks really nice. So for the sake of maybe adding more details, I'm not too much of a fan of details, but some people really like really complex characters that have many moving parts. This is something you have to take into account, because if you rig a character that's very detail oriented, you might have to pay way more money than if you rig a fairly simple character like mine, where it's just a shirt and maybe some chains. But things to keep in mind, maybe some sort of body markings are good to have, because you get like body paint and tattoos and everything like that. Piercings are also nice. As you can see, it adds something to the character. You can also maybe add some body fur if you want to make a character a bit more furry-like. Still not going to be furry, but it will have some body fur to maybe highlight that it's more of a fox girl than just a regular human with fox ears. In this case, you don't really see much of the body hair. Body fur, I mean. Not happening here either. But maybe if I add some brackets, the brackets will strengthen the tag so it will take it more into consideration. And still no body fur. Great. Maybe for the fox girl type character it's not working, but maybe on a bear character or a lion character it might work. Let's see if maybe if I change this to lion girl and lion ears and lion tail, maybe it takes it more into account. Let's see what we have. And still no. That's interesting. I think it might be possible that since I'm doing a tutorial, I'm using the curated model. Curated model gets rid of any not safe for work tags. I'm going to get a bit spicy here. Let me use the full model, which includes the entirety of the images. And as you know, these websites have a ton of not safe for work images. You might run the risk of maybe getting something a bit more spicy. I might have to censor it in the video, so let's see what happens. But when you have more artwork to take from, the generations and the examples you get are way better than using the restricted model. Let's see if I get... Oh, see, there you go. As you can see, she has fur now. Maybe because there is a lot of not safe for work furry art, for the sake of maybe showing a bit more of her face, I'm gonna get rid of the fox mask. And I'm going to give her, let's say, bigger hair. I mean, she's supposed to be a lion. I want her hair to look more like a mane than anything. So I'm going to put, where's her hair? Short hair, let's put medium hair. And let's put big hair. And there you go. She looks way more like a lion now. Still, the design is a bit generic. But again, this is supposed to be a type of Frankenstein. Maybe you like this face, maybe you like the marking, so you generate this, you cut the head away, and you show it to your artist and say, okay, I want these facial markings, I want maybe these eyes, or I want similar hair like this. Let's see, again, everything you write here, more likely than not, will show up in the final image in one way or another. Some blue eyes. Wow, that looks really nice. Since it's AI, you can see that the chains in her ears, her ear piercings are not really that great looking, but overall the character design is fairly solid. It's a good looking character, and it's something you can eventually use as a PNG if you want to start doing PNG VTubing. But again, as I said earlier, I'm going to work on that part of the tutorial maybe later and release that as a part 2. So for now, I'm going to leave you with some examples of different characters I generated using AI. And you can see that there are many different variations for you to like get inspired from. I will include the tags in the right next to the photos as I show them, so you can maybe get an idea of how I use my prompts. But the more detail you get with your prompt, the more detail or the more interesting you will get an image. So with that, I will leave you, and I guess until next time when I come up with part 2 of how to maybe turn an image similar to this one into a PNG VTuber.